Episode 140. Help me take off my clothes. Even when he ate, he was so cold. When she thought about these things, she felt very uncomfortable. Jade angrily tossed aside the script in her hands and said to herself, I don't want to think about these things. I want to sleep. But when she turned off the lights and lay on the bed, trying to close her eyes, she found that she could not sleep no matter what. She touched the cold and empty bedsheet beside her, feeling a sense of loss. Could it be that she could not sleep without him? Impossible, she thought. It must be because she woke up too late this morning. It couldn't be that she wasn't able to sleep without Dario by her side. When she was in the cruise, she was able to sleep alone. But even when she closed her eyes and lay there for 2 hours, she still did not fall asleep. And Dario didn't come back either. She angrily lifted the blanket and said to herself, Jade Winslet, you are really useless. However, she was conflicted in her heart. She turned on the light again and carefully walked towards the study. She had thought that Dario had locked the door, but he couldn't have. It was still slightly open. She just couldn't see it clearly when she was in the hall before. She hesitatingly pushed the door open and carefully stuck her head in to take a look. Dario was staring intently at the computer screen. He changed into casual clothes, and he looked more approachable. He would have already taken a shower. Jade could see that he was busy, and she decided to leave quietly. But before she could, Dario stopped what he was doing and turned to see her peeking at him from the door. It's midnight. Don't you want to sleep? Dario asked calmly. Jade stood at the door in a daze. She'd been caught. She hesitated, unsure whether she should tell the truth, but then Dario smiled at her. Do you want me to sleep next to you? He knew what she really thought. Jade blushed instantly, anxiously explaining, No, I've been sleeping for a while. I just got up to use the restroom and saw you. Anything else? Dario asked directly, as if reading her mind. Jade frowned slightly, pulling at her pajamas. She did not know what to say. Actually, what she really wanted was to ask why he had been so cold to her recently. Did he no longer like her? But standing in front of him, she found she couldn't say anything at all. If she asked him something like that, wouldn't it mean she cared about his feelings toward her? Didn't they agree that they were husband and wife in name only? He had just needed a good-looking wife. What had been going on with her recently? Why did she care about him more and more? She found she really wanted to be with him. No, nothing else. I just wanted to see if you were done with your work. If you have something to say, say it, Dario said firmly. He obviously knew there was something more. I just want to ask a question. Jade lowered her head. She looked very hesitant. Dario's face stayed calm, as if everything she did was under his control. Wait for me for just a second. Dario finished his work as fast as he could. He turned off the computer and the light in the study. Then he walked over to Jade, who was still standing at the door. He frowned, scolding her. How many times have I told you to wear slippers? If you continue like this, I will break your legs. He suddenly picked her up. Mr. Foster, what are you doing? Afraid that she might fall, Jade reached out to hug Dario's neck. The two of them were suddenly very close. Didn't you want to ask a question? Let's go to bed first. Dario calmly carried her back to the bedroom. Jade looked at him in surprise. She heard how direct he was and instantly became speechless. She thought that what he said about going to bed must only mean lying down on it. He shouldn't mean anything else. But speaking like that, it was very easy to make someone think otherwise. Yesterday, he'd been like that too. She even told him that it was her first time making love. But in the end, he didn't have that much intention at all. He'd only wanted to give a massage because she worried too much. She didn't know why. She really hated feeling like this. Dario carefully carried Jade to the bed and then held her hand to his pants. Jade didn't know what he meant by that. She blinked and naively asked, Mr. Foster, what do you want? I want to make love to you, Dario said plainly. Jade was so scared that she immediately pulled her hand back. He was too forward. She could not help but think of the first time she met him in the bar. It was as if he had said the same thing. Mr. Foster, can you stop talking like that? I'm going to sleep. Good night. Jade immediately hid under the blanket and wrapped herself tightly, as if she was afraid that he would grab her. I'm joking with you. Help me take off my clothes, Dario said in a relaxed manner. However, his expression was very serious. It did not seem like he had been joking. As he spoke, he reached for her hand and pulled it out again. Jade looked at him shyly. She did not dare look into his eyes. She rejected him decisively. Mr. Foster, you have your own hands. Why don't you take off your own clothes? If you don't take off my clothes, you won't be able to sleep. Dario emphasized the word sleep. Jade was a little embarrassed. She knew he was saying these words on purpose. He wanted to tease her so she would be even more dissatisfied. "Mr. Foster, you are too bad." Jade stared at him angrily. He always bullied her because of his strength. She could not resist at all. "I'm not a bad person. Our marriage certificate is still in the drawer. It's very normal for a wife to help a husband take off his clothes." Dario narrowed his eyes and reached for her hand again, but Jade did not want to do it at all. "If you want to sleep, do as I say first. Be obedient," Dario said gently. He wanted to lure her into a trap step by step. Jade gave up resisting. No matter what, he always had a way to make her listen to him. Even if she did not help him take off his clothes now, he would still think of other ways to deal with her. Jade gritted her teeth and took the initiative to stretch her hand towards his shirt. In her heart, wanting to help him take off his clothes was a simple matter. She would settle it quickly.